What's poppin', beautiful people? Welcome back to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. Hey, we are here to go over 90 Day The Last Resort. This is season 3, episode 11. It was titled The Last Night Standing. We are going to start this live by saying a big thank you to American Born, who is on the way to pick up a roommate, but I still appreciate AB for still making it here on time to get all of these comments in here for you guys. Feel free to join the live chat. Feel free to join the comments if you're watching the replay. I just appreciate the opinions of everybody. There have been some issues with StreamYard. Like I'm seeing right now, I'm looking kind of blurry, which is not the best thing. So I am going to resolve that shortly. But we are here to get into this episode of Last Resort. This episode did not really give much, if I'm being honest. What is going on? Let's not be blurry. My goodness. While the camera figures itself out, I'm just going to jump into things. Also, shout out to Also Best. Thank you for being here. You are helpful. That's our IT person. Okay, the least we could do is stream some Also Best. He is on YouTube, Deezer, Spotify, Apple Music. Tap into Also Best. You don't even have to pay to listen to him. But let's definitely get into this episode. I'm going to go off camera for a moment while Osobest does something for me. However, getting into the episode, there was a lot, but also not a lot that happened. So I'm just going to go over what happened with each couple kind of all at once so that we don't play ping pong here on these YouTube streets. But Cara and Guillermo, they seem to be doing better. I was extremely surprised at the fact that they are doing better. But at this point, I feel like Cara and Guillermo are just kind of here to get their free 90-day check. If y'all kind of get what I'm saying, 90-day probably asked them to come. Everyone knows their relationship's in shambles. But seeing them here, I'm like, okay, I think this is the example of a couple where you can have amazing like sexual chemistry, but that doesn't mean that anything else chemistry-wise should be worked on. Patrick is also at the same time waiting on his arrival because John is coming in town. That is Patrick's brother, for those who are not aware. Now, we met Patrick's brother in his season of 90 Day. We also got to meet Patrick's brother on 90 Day, The Single Life. He's in a very toxic relationship with a woman who I believe he has a baby with. But it's interesting that John is going to be coming all the way across the world to discuss somebody else's relationship. In my opinion, that tells me all that I need to know about John, okay? Because you travel literally across the world to be in your brother's business. And to me, that's just a little bit strange. It's very, very odd. Now, Rebecca, I know this happened toward the end of the episode, but I'm going to talk about it now because nothing else came of it. And I don't want to do the ping pong. Now, Rebecca talks to Paola at some point in this episode, and she's essentially discussing her situation with Ziad. She says that they did their homework and they said nice things about each other. But then Rebecca was like, the nice things that we said about each other started to turn into not so nice things. And I'm kind of like, it's not that the things were not so nice. In my opinion, it more so seems like Rebecca just, when she hears that he expects her to do things that are traditionally known in society as wifely duties, she freaks out and snaps. And here's the thing. If you want to be in a relationship and you don't want to be doing wifely duties, that's fine. There are some men out there who have no problem with a woman that doesn't cook, may not be cleaning up and providing. But you have to make sure that your partner is okay with that and that you guys are on the same page. And I just do not feel like Rebecca and Ziad like really discussed like what their expectations are of each other as partners. And it feels like they have since discussed it since being together, but I don't think Rebecca is interested in changing who she is and how she does things for him. Now, in real time, Rebecca and Ziad, I don't think they're together because American Born, shout out to the best moderator out there on YouTube, but American Born has sent me some information on social media, which any of you guys can do as well. DM me on IG. I am very responsive. But I was surprised to see that Ziad or Ziad, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name, so I apologize if I'm saying it incorrectly, but he is working in HVAC and he has been seen with a brand new Tinder profile. So people are thinking that they're breaking up. I'm not surprised. Honestly, Rebecca needs to find a man that doesn't want to work or do much. Like, I don't think she needs someone like Ziad who seems to want to work and live life and enjoy time with his spouse. I think Rebecca just wants someone to sit and be quiet. Now, Paola, she, in my opinion, is not the best person to get advice from, just because it seems like Paola, it doesn't matter how wrong the female is. If you're a girl, she's truly a girl's girl and going to side with you. But Rebecca makes the comment that if Zia takes off on her again, when she says takes off, she means, y'all know how they were talking about him getting so annoyed with her mouth that he gets in the car and drives so long that he ends up states away. Like, she said if he does that again, he needs to find somewhere else to live. Rebecca, I get the feeling that you weaponize the fact that you pay for his life against him. And even with that, this man has gone out and found a way to get himself a career so that he can be okay. But why you're so quick to say he can just go instead of womaning up and saying to him, I'm not going to be able to meet your expectations for what you want out of a wife. So where do we go from here? That's all she needs to say. But instead, she keeps talking to him and then acting like she's going to give him a shot just to change her mind. And I'm like, Rebecca, please. It's draining. It's draining. In the words of Michelle from Married at First Sight, girl, I got whiplash from dealing with you. I really do. But we will come back to her because there wasn't much that came out of that. It looks like Rebecca and Paola will give more next week. I would have liked to hear more from Pal just on how she's going to handle things with Russ, but it seems like this episode they were very focused on Cara and Guillermo, Shekinah, her wig, and Sarper, as well as Thais, Patrick, and John. Now, moving it along, y'all, Shekinah, her wig, and Sarper are in a hot tub, and you could tell just by how Shekinah got in the hot tub. She said, making sure that that man saw every single piece of her. I thought that was funny, but she got into the hot tub and she's trying to have a good time with her husband, right? But Sarper tells her, he's like, I know have good day. And he basically says, for lack of better words, that he is annoyed with all of the drama that is centered around his wife. And he asks Shekinah if instead of throwing a fit, if she could just follow his lead because he is the man in the relationship. And she says, no, you're not worried about my feelings and you don't care. I noticed Shekinah starts to listen to Sarper, but the moment she's not getting her way, suddenly people are disregarding her feelings. There's a lack of care for her. And in my opinion, it's like, girl, you just mad you're not getting your way. And you can't start all this crap with a bunch of people and then throw your husband into the drama as well. While film alone. Sarper was correct in a lot of what he said to Shekinah. He was like, listen, I understand you feeling safe, but this is group therapy. You're not going to get to be alone with him in a therapy session, Shekinah. You're not. So stop making the therapy sessions insufferable and disrespecting people and just sit there and shut up. It's not hard. I don't understand why she can't do it. What's poppin', Kiwan JTV? Welcome in. Tap into Kiwan JTV's channel, you guys. She's very close to 1,000 subscribers. That is the goal. We want to get her there. Let's subscribe, share her videos, and uplift her in any way that we can. Right now, I know that she is currently covering Next Gen NYC against her will, but she is covering with enjoyment. She just finished out Heart and Hustle. She does Bell Collective. She also has Soul Food, the old series. So there's a lot that Kiwan does, both old and new. So I always encourage people, head over to her channel. Head over to her channel. Now, she kind of still talk about she feel unsafe because she got to be around the group. I just feel like this lady is impossible. She did promise, though, in the scene that she would be entirely quiet when they do group therapy. And all I said was, bet. I pray to God that you're quiet because I'm so tired of hearing your mouth. And Shekinah, you run your mouth and you complain about every little thing as if you're the only person in the world who can act offended. Oh, woe is me. I'm Shekinah. I'm a victim. Baby girl, you're not the only one to go through stuff. And sometimes, Shekinah, if you say less, your words may have more power. It's kind of like someone that's always talking, and you just tend to not listen to everything that they say because they're constantly talking. But the person who doesn't speak a lot, you're going to hear because you're like, oh my goodness, they're speaking. Shut up, Shekinah. Shut the F up. Please. Please and thank you, y'all. Please and thank you. You're welcome, Kiwa. No worries. No worries at all. But we gonna move forward for them because I feel like Shekinah has been complaining and doing the same song and dance for now 11 weeks of this show. I'm tired of it. I don't care what she says. She enjoys the attention. She does have some valid points, but her delivery just be so off that I don't even care to hear from her anymore. Now we're going to move to Cara and Guillermo. They go on a date together, and their homework from the therapist was go on a date with each other, have fun, and treat it as if you don't know each other, right? So they go on a date and they're acting like they're just meeting, and things go well until they get off the bike and have their little picnic. Now they're talking about some things that they like, and Cara's like, I think it's cool that I'm a singer. And when it gets to Guillermo's turn, Guillermo says that he likes outdoor stuff, and you know, when he gets back to the States, he plans to get a motorcycle. And immediately Cara broke scene, if we will. And Cara was like, now, wait a minute. Why would you get a motorcycle when my friend gave you a motorcycle? Cara, number one, you don't live with this man, so he can do what he wants. If he didn't take the motorcycle with him when he moved out of the house you share, then one would assume that he's not going to use the motorcycle. However, Guillermo, you send mixed messages. Everything is okay until you guys are talking about the past. And I feel like if you can't talk about the past, the therapist can assign them homework like this, where they got to act like they don't know each other, all that the therapist wants. It's not going to fix anything because eventually they have to go back to reality. And the reality of the situation is he's kind of misogynistic and shuts her down and doesn't seem to want to do his part, but wants to reap the benefits. And she does things that are considered problematic in every culture in relationships, and then acts obtuse as to why people are upset. So I personally feel like they're both full of it, and I can see why this couple is not working. But Cara, why did you have to bring up that doggone motorcycle? Who cares? If he can afford to buy a new motorcycle, let him. Let him. Lord help us. Now, I do know that the internet likes to come for Cara, right? I have noticed that. Now, she's not my favorite person in the 90-day realm, and sometimes she could be a little annoying and overzealous, but what I've seen this season is Cara making a continuous effort and consistent effort, and Guillermo takes her on the roller coaster, acts like he's repulsed by her, and goes and sleeps in other rooms. Like, at this point, I feel like Guillermo just wants his get back because he is embarrassed at the fact that this woman is doing OnlyFans. Which, fine, you can feel how you feel about the OnlyFans, but I said it before. Some of y'all didn't like when I said this on my other live. If he wants his woman off OnlyFans, what you doing to keep her off OnlyFans and make up for the money? Guillermo and was like, are you going to be able to take your name off the deed to our house? Because she don't feel like he should be benefiting and having his name on the deed to the house that she bought for them to live together, the house that he left, the house that he's also not paying on. So now I'm looking at Guillermo like, please shut up, sir. I'm sorry. Please shut the actual fuck up, Guillermo. Because while some of what he's gone through in the relationship, his feelings are valid, the fact that his only argument really on this show is the OnlyFans, and come to find out she's the one who bought the house, her down payment, her money got it. She's the one paying the mortgage, the home insurance, the property taxes, taking care of their son. She's the one doing all of this, but he wants to complain about OnlyFans. Like, I just cannot with Guillermo. Olivia, what's popping? I didn't see your comment. I'm so sorry. Guillermo is petty too. They got to move on. Girl, that is the absolute best way to explain it. They just, like, they have to move on. He's obviously extremely petty, and Cara is petty also, but I feel like he starts it, and Cara's just the type where she'll go tit for tat, but she's not going to be that first tit, if that makes sense. Olivia also said Cara wants a higher life than Guillermo. That's true. The life that Cara wants, I don't think Guillermo can provide it. And I'm not saying he doesn't make money, but like, come on, give him a shot to establish himself in other things, but like her saying she does OnlyFans for her music career, baby, you better be charting and making money. Otherwise, you better get you a DistroKid membership like all these independent artists I used to do music reviews for and put your music out and promote it on your social media for free. Okay? I'm sure you know somebody who knows somebody, Kiara. They're both, it goes back to what Olivia said. Like, they just have to move on. I don't see them ever finding resolution. Guillermo can't provide that, so she doesn't respect him and he feels less than. That's another thing. It seems like Guillermo can't provide a lot, but when he's able to provide something, he'd rather provide it for himself. I'm not commenting on his parenting at all, but it's like, bro, try to pay a bill, try to be helpful. Don't just let your anger for this woman take away the fact that you have a financial responsibility to help her, considering she has your child. It's embarrassing because it's a dig at him, like, dude couldn't provide for her, so she's selling cat. He's heavily embarrassed. Yeah. Do you know how embarrassed my husband would be if I was like, yeah, I'm doing OnlyFans and I work because I got to pay these bills when he's in the house too and got a job? That's embarrassing, I'm sure, for anybody, but do something about it. And that's the thing I don't like about men. When it comes to women, like, we'll do stuff about it. A man will complain and complain and complain and complain and complain and do absolutely nothing about it. It gets on my nerves sometimes. It does. It really does. But I hope y'all consider liking the video. Just have to sneak that in there. But yeah, Cara and Guillermo, it's just not going well for them. So I think they're done. So I think in real time, they're not together. But watching this helps me understand why they are not together. It definitely helps me understand. The next people we're going to get into is Patrick and Thais. Patrick and Thais are, well, I call him Patrick Star because he's shaped like him. But I don't know. These two are interesting. I know in real time that they are divorcing and it's not looking good for them. However, I'm happy to see them go to therapy to talk about what seems to be their biggest issue that we know about, because in real time, since the divorce has come out, apparently Patrick is over $200,000 in debt. In addition to being over $200,000 worth of debt, he is definitely, I think there's more to their relationship that's causing problems that they're not talking about on the show, is what I'm trying to say. If y'all know, you know. But Patrick says that he feels like he's in the middle of things between his wife and his brother because Thais and John don't talk. So what? I don't talk to my husband's older brother. Can't stand him. If they're not talking, that gives you peace. Is it that deep for them to talk? Like, my goodness. But, I guess everybody is different. Now, John comes in and John mentions when they start talking, they're like, oh, when you first came out here, you made a comment about how I was drinking at 10 a.m. Yeah, why are you drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning? Now, I don't see anything wrong with it if it's your day off or something, but if I'm coming from another country to live with men, then I would be a little uncomfortable if they're chugging beers at 10 a.m. myself. Now, Thais saying something I don't think was a big deal because Patrick and her were both like, she didn't even know English. And that's my thing that I'm going to get at John about for this whole interaction. How dare you come at this lady about all types of things that you heard from her father who doesn't speak English. You're getting at her about stuff that she couldn't communicate with you on because at the time that things went down, she didn't speak English. Hell, she is still working on her English, yet you want to hold her accountable for every single thing she says and absolve your brother of any type of fucking accountability when your brother's a big old fat douchebag that's shaped funny. Like, I just don't understand that. Like, John, you're coming in this acting like Patrick is the prize, and there's a reason he's looking for women that are not America, because I promise you that American women are not interested in Patrick like that. And the ones that are probably low tier, low quality, and or MAGA. I said what I said. Now, John is upset because Thais said that they used to live together. And John goes, yeah, me and him used to live together. And then you came, so you lived with us. I wasn't living with you. You don't get to tell me when to drink. Why are you upset that a woman that don't belong to you commented on you not drinking early in the morning while you were unemployed, living with your brother at the time, allegedly. Like, get over it. Most men wouldn't take that to heart. So obviously, whatever Thais said must have had some truth to it for him to be so impacted. Not he looked like a thumb. Olivia, please. She said he looked like a thumb. I can't see it. He does. He really does. He really, really does. I've never seen a person named Patrick that looked more like Patrick Star. Shout out SpongeBob SquarePants. Ever in my life. Now, my camera is fighting for its life right now. I apologize, y'all. It's not your internet, it's my camera. But moving forward, things just did not go well. Apparently, John is difficult from what I can see. And Thais makes the point to say that John is in a toxic relationship himself with someone that doesn't treat him well and that he always has problems with, which I know to be true because we saw a lot of it on social media when it was happening in real time. And you know, Thais only brought up John's relationship basically to make the point of, you are so disrespectful to Thais, but John, your girl is not good either, and has done things that, and there is no language barrier. And Patrick is still, I guess, respectful to John's lady. So it's crazy that John can't issue the same respect back to Thais. I wouldn't talk to John either if I was Thais, because everything she says, apparently this man holds on to for years and years. And then it looks like Patrick throws it against her. And so does John. So if I was Thais, I wouldn't feel safe to speak either. She kind of talked about she unsafe to speak. No, baby. Thais might be unsafe to speak in her situation. But John, when he is confronted with logic, and Thais is like, why can't you be respectful to me the way your brother is to your girl with him knowing stuff? And when John is backed into a corner and can't defend that, he pretty much moves and says, well, tell him about what you were doing when you were in Colombia. You went to the club. And she's like, I went with my dad. And it looked like John agreed. And I'm like, so you're accusing a woman of cheating on your brother while she was hanging out with her father and her daughter? John, what is your real beef with Thais? Because no shade, John's baby mama, if y'all go look at her, look like a low budget Thais. And I don't mean that as a compliment for the baby mama. So is that what it is? Is it jealousy? Because at this point, that's what it's looking like, because I don't see what his issue is with this woman. You have no proof that she's cheated on you. And you're saying, oh, you're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. And I'm just looking at John like, okay, if she's not lying to you, and if she was telling lies on anything serious, why the fuck would her dad be having conversations with you telling on his daughter? And then we learned that the dad can barely speak English. So I'm looking at John like, what is the beef that you really have with Thais? There's something more that they're not telling us that's not making sense. Or John is just really this pressed and bothered for no reason. I just don't understand it. I don't. I really don't. But all he kept saying is that Thais is not an honest person. And she asked him some questions because he was accusing her. First, he said she was at a club that turned out to be a place you get burgers with her daughter and her dad. Then he tried to say that she was with her ex in Brazil, which is a crazy thing to say. Thais says that she wasn't with her ex, but when confronted about it, she's like, yes, I have exes in Brazil. That's like me moving to another country and then being like, I have no exes in America. Like, huh? So I'm looking at John and I'm like, we know that she has exes in Brazil. That's common sense. Like, it sounds like you all agree with the fact that she was with her family on this trip. So are y'all just upset that you weren't invited on this trip? I would like to know why Patrick did not go on this trip with her. Like, I have a lot of questions, but John kept saying his girl is not honest and then not giving us examples of her not being honest, which kind of turned me off. And I would like to ask the question because he just starts screaming at her. And Thais eventually walked away after saying, you're not letting me talk, because he wasn't. And my thing with John is you had so much energy for Thais, had nothing to say to your brother. But when you were on 90 Day the Single Life, you spoke about how you don't like how your brother does things and you didn't want your brother giving you advice. Yeah, I watched that season, John. You didn't like that your brother was giving you advice about, I think her name was Megan or something, but you didn't like that he was giving you advice on the relationship. And then you talked a lot of shit about Patrick and Thais's relationship way back then, right after they had just had that baby. So I'm still looking at John like, you're not making any sense. Screaming at her is sitting right next to you. And just because you're the oldest sibling, because I'm the oldest of 4 myself, doesn't give you the right to go off of your sibling's spouse. That's absolutely insane. That's absolutely insane. I don't understand that. So what I see as a boundary problem, Patrick, you're a big ass bitch too. Man up, Mr. Thumb, aka Patrick Starr, and make your brother respect your wife. My mama is one of the most disrespectful humans that I have met, unfortunately. She is foul and she does it to me, all my siblings, and our spouses. When I had to put my foot down and tell her, you may not like Mr. Best, but you're going to fucking respect him. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You have to make people see that this person's important to you. And Patrick was like, hey, you can't yell at her like that. No, the way I would have got up in my brother's face, who the fuck are you talking to? So I don't know. It's unfortunate. And I was wondering why Dr. Tyrone just sat there. Like, I understand therapists want to sit and watch stuff play out and then give their opinion, but he literally sat there, let this man yell at this woman, let John act an absolute fool and cut everybody out, let Thais walk away, and did nothing. I want to see what the fuck Dr. Grandiston is going to do next season. Otherwise, don't bring him back as a 90-day therapist because the shit is ridiculous. Let's see what the comments are saying. Olivia says John hates women and Patrick low-key does too. I think they're misogynistic, and I think that they have the expectation they have for the woman that they want is not the woman that they attract, and they get mad at everyone else. I also think they see stuff and think that they have to like buy their love, because you would never know Patrick's in as much debt as he's in, and it looked like he could just live beneath his means or at his means and he would be okay. I think they're both insecure and there's probably a lot of issues. They kind of remind me of the melanin redacted version of Maurice and Marceau Scott. Just a little bit, they remind me of them. Y'all, Love Marriage Huntsville, by the way, is back September, I believe September the 12th. I hate that show, so I don't watch it and won't be reviewing it. However, anybody that does enjoy Love and Marriage Huntsville, James will still be doing his reviews over on his channel, so I will refer all people to his channel for those. Olivia asks, why does John have a heavy Boston accent and Patrick doesn't? Boom. I think it has something to do with their childhood and why they moved this way. They were obviously not raised together just based on the accents alone. Because John's accent is so thick, I don't think he's faking it. I don't. The therapist was sitting there with popcorn. He was. I said, Dr. Grandiston, therapize, do something, Negro. You just sitting there in the cold London breeze. Like, do something, sir. I didn't understand what he was doing. I really could not understand what the therapist was doing, and it made my teeth itch something vicious. It really, really did. I'm surprised this season of The Last Resort is still going, y'all. Episode 11. I've never really watched a season of The Last Resort from start to finish. I was more a 90-day the other way, 90-day fiance before the 90 days. But curious to see how it goes at the end of this. Like if there's a tell-all, what will be said at it. I'm just curious to see what happens. But let me know how you guys feel, Replay Gang. It looks like StreamYard did help me to resolve some of those issues. So I am happy about that. I'm glad that everyone was able to hear me. Shout out to our Replay Gang. Let me know that you are here and watching. You can comment #replay. You could just say hi, or you could simply like or hype the video. It is an easy and free way to support the channel. The next live I'm going to have is right after this one, and I might just start it right after this live, but in 15 minutes, I was supposed to have the 90-day fiance live. On Thursday, I feel like there's something else I will have on Thursday, and my brain is just not clocking it right now. Don't forget to vote for the poll on the channel to let me know if you guys are watching Fightland, which is on Stars. I am also considering covering another TLC show called The Double Lives of Suburban Wives. Let me know if you guys are watching that on TLC. If you are watching it, I will cover it and get some reviews out because it did look interesting. I was intrigued. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was intrigued. But other than that, beautiful people, love and light to everybody. I will see you for the next review. Don't forget to comment your opinion. A strong thug life, good vibes. Stream also best, and I'll see you next time. Au revoir.